Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US stocks for Tuesday the 23rd. We'll be covering Apple, Facebook and Amazon. So I know there's different ways to count this particular trend to the upside, but the important thing is that it's still trending to the upside. We're seeing impulse waves to the upside and corrective three-wave structures to the downside. So there's no change in trend at this particular stage. So let's just go and have a look. So I'm counting this as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and going up for wave 5 here in terms of 1 and 2 in here, 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here. Now this could extend up further here as well. It's quite typical for a third wave to sit on a level, and this is a medium level here. So it's quite typical for that to occur. Also too is from this low here, which would be wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5. So we could actually have a top in here, or we're going to look at this as wave 1 here and back for wave 2, 3, 4 and 5 and extending to the upside here for that. We do have a nice support on this level here and gives us an opportunity to go long at this point. In fact, we're already long at 237, I believe. So let's go in and have a closer look at this particular structure and setup and so on. So just on the 4-hour chart here, we can see we've got 1 and 2 here, minor degree, 3 and 4. And we've been counting up as 1 and 2 and 3 here and 4 here, and looking for wave 5. So wave 5 could actually just terminate around this particular point here, because I can count I can count this up here. I could count it up as wave 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2. But the problem with that, and I'm happy to go with that, and I will go with that, but the problem with that is that if we count this up for 1 here and back for 2 here, then this is the high here over this, so it makes it an expanded flat in a wave 2, which is not really in the Elliott book, but I see it a lot in FX and so on. I mean, after all, Elliott established his rules based on no leverage, so just on the Dow Jones itself. So this yeah, so this is the dilemma. Do we go to here, or can we look at this as 1 and 2 here and head up for 3 and 4 and 5? That's the thing. So we're going to go in and take a closer look. So this is how I've got it so far here. I was looking at the Facebook trade. This is the Apple trade. So we've got 3 positions in here. Sorry about that. 1, 2 and 3. So yeah, so like I said, this wave 3 and wave 4 here, I can count 5 waves in this structure here, so that's why I've gone for wave 1, even though it's got this expanded flat correction above it there. So this A, B and C wave, and the B wave taking the top of this structure out here by a tad. So but I'm going to stay with this for the time being, and we're going to look for higher ground. But just to let you know that and we'll go into the tick chart and have a look at all of this. So it's possible to have this wave 5 here, but otherwise I believe that we can look further up into this space up here for this to play out here. So we'll just keep tracking it up. If this is going to be a wave 3 here, so what I might do with these guys here is just push them to the side here, and then I'll dull them out here. And that just tells me it's just an alternative count and that we've discussed it and so on and so on. All's good. So that's that out of the way. The 350 here is the midpoint, halfway between 400 and 300, obviously, which is a major trading level and a medium trading level, and then we've got the minor trading levels 1, 2 and 3 that make up group 1, and then the midpoint here, 5 being the second strongest number. You can always expect some type of correction across here waiting for support, and then we'll go up to group 2 where we start to see profit taking coming in around the number 8 here, the 80. So we're dividing the problem up between 300 and 400 into sections. So section 1 is group 1, the midpoint here, and then group 2. And it's good if you do that because you're basically breaking down a problem and finding little solutions along the way. So solutions along the way is that, well, I know that if I get support on top of number 3 here, I'll get to 5. And if I get support on top of 5, well, then we'll go up to 8. But normally when you get support on 5 here, then you'll get to the next largest number. If the market's going to fail, then it's going to fail at these 2 levels in here. at 72 and well, number 8 here. So we just need to see if this is going to push higher. We need to see if this is going to give us our little third wave up here, nice strong little third wave. A correction across the group 2 here for the 4th wave, and then the 5th wave up through to here. We're going to leave our stop here at 342, and you can pull it up a little bit closer here, but let's just go in and have a look at this first. This is 100 ticks that we're looking at here, so I might have to go to 20 ticks. I think I was working on 20 ticks. Yeah, we'll go to 20 ticks. But basically what I've done here is I've moved from wave 1 here to wave 2 here and looking for this up here. But because that, see, the thing is I've counted all these little waves up here, and I've got to my wave 1 here, so I'm cool with that, and then ABC for wave 2. It's just that that's popped out the top here. So when that does that in this wave 1, it tells me that it's actually a wave 4 here, and we'll be looking at this here. If I can find a wave 5 here. No. So it tells me that this would be a wave 3, ABC for wave 4, expanded flat, and a wave 5 sitting right here for that. So once again, we'll just grey that area out, but at least we've talked about it at this stage. So that's a possibility, and I'll just put it there. Otherwise, if we continue to see strength and it pushes up a little bit further, you know that we're on the right track, and we'll be looking at this as a third wave up here and so on, moving to the upside here. So I'll just have a look at 20 ticks because I've just done a little bit more work on that, that's all. So this is the structure here, and I think it's important to go over it a little bit, you know, just so you know where, if you've got money on the line, you want to know, you want to know somebody's done their homework, at least, you know. Listening to internet people is entertaining, but you want to be gathering some facts. So look, basically what I've done is I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down for a C wave to finish here, then 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and then looking at all of this as the third wave. I won't go in there and count it, but just have, and then we've got wave 5 coming into here for wave 3, wave 4 pulling back in here, and then looking up for wave 5 here. So yeah, it's a bit of a rough wave 5, I have to say, this one here, but basically 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I know it's got overlapping structures here, but sometimes you just got to take the best option. And this is the thing that I can see that that's in 5 waves. So I know it's a C wave. I know that this is the A, the B, and the C wave here, or the A wave here, an A and a B and a C. So, you know, it's rare that you see an expanded flat in stocks, but well, in wave 1 anyway. So I'm trying to say wave 1 and 2 here, but anyway, that's a little bit of a dilemma. So, and also too, this little move up through here by the buy, you can see that this is the strongest move here in this move up here. You can see that where the gap is, that's the strongest. So this is the third wave here for this. So this could be 3, 4 here, then 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 finishing here. So what I was suggesting, we're going to stop at 3, 4, 2 down here. That's to accommodate if this all up here is just wave 1 and we pull back to wave 2 here and then go up from that way, we're just keeping our stop out of the way from that point. The other section here is from this high to this high here is the 50-60% retracement level. So we could certainly come back down here to these highs here and deeper into this space here. To find support as an A and a B and a C wave coming down here into this space. So look, in a nutshell, as long as the market stays above the, you know, the 350, the 353 here, because when we're talking, we've been talking about this is a minor level here, and then we can go from minor levels down to sub levels and down to micro levels. So then this structure here, this 51, 52 and 53, the 53 makes up group 1, so that would be the support if this market came down to that, and it would give you if it found support here and started to move up, then you could buy on the number 5 up here. So the number 5 is this here, 355 again in here somewhere, 356, sorry, 355 here. So if it came down here, then you and then got support on 5, that's where you can build in from and then go to the upside from that point. Okay, I best move along and look at Facebook next. So I'll just go out to the daily first with all of this. So this structure going to the upside here, we're tracking 2 counts here. One of them that we've got, well, this blue wave 1 up here, and the other one is that we've got blue wave 1 where the orange wave 1 is here. So a different type of trend to the upside. Both are quite valid. I like the one that we've got here at the moment because it gives us this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. This I'll have to double check that. I can see an error within that. Not to matter. I can sort that out. But this wave 4 has been bothering us a little bit. We can see how complicated it is in here. So it's possible to put that there. It's also, if you've got a count that's got that there too, that's also valid as well. Okay, just to let you know that, because I've done my homework there. So we're very close to this, what the 250 here, which we call the medium level here. We've got support on number 3 here. So from 200 is a major trading level. We've got the minor levels, 1, 2, and 3 that make up group 1. If we get support on group 1, well, then we can look at the next level, which is 5 to here. So that's where we're heading to for this. Let's go in and let's just shorten this a little bit. Let's go into the 4-hour chart here for this. And yeah, this is the other count here. So we've got wave 1 here, 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that was where my I've already worked out my error. I can see that I've already accommodated it here. So this, I like this count here. So yeah, we've got support on, we're just touching these old highs here now. I don't really need that there. It's not part of the levels, but this is group 1, 1, 2, and 3 here. We've got a nice solid support on that, and we can move up into the 250 area there. So at the 250 area there, we can expect a classic trading levels pattern, which is the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then some type of correction here. You know, once the idea in all of this is really to trade to the level, get out, wait for the correction, because that's where you're going to lose your money. And you don't really want to be involved in that, because that's also part of the, I mean, there's a lot of emotional things that go on in there, but in a nutshell, it becomes the accumulation process in here, and then the next trend is the distribution process. So basically, as a trader, you want to be able to just take the distribution part of it, get out, allow the market to correct and to accumulate, and then get back in for the next distribution part of the trend. So you get in here, get out here, and we'll get in over here, or we'll get in here, or somewhere over here we'll make a move, depending on how much confidence we have in what we're seeing. But if the level becomes support, then we can move in from that point. So on the, do I have the 1 hour for Facebook? I think I might do. Yes, we do. So obviously we've talked about this before. So little bit late and tricky in here. I mean, this looks to me at first glance as 1 and 2 in here, and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we might have this come back on us a little bit. We may see a push higher here, and then a correction here, and then up from there. So we just need to be mindful. We'll leave the stop out of the way here. So that Facebook stop is at 226. So we'll leave it there for the time being. Because if it comes back down, I'll want to test on the 30 here. We also, the orders will be sitting on the 30. We don't want to put a stop on a whole number. You just don't do that. And then the number under that, the 29, there'll be orders there, but it'll be the 28 that has the orders there. Everybody piles in it. People people gravitate towards 8 more so than 7 and 9 in this game. So that's your protection here. So we don't want to put a stop at number 7. We can get away with that quite often, but you just have a much better success rate if you go for the 6 under that, because if you go any lower than the 6, then you're at the 5, which is the halfway mark between these two, and 5 being the second strongest number. Then you have to go under the 5, and being under the 5, you don't want to go at 4, so and 3 strong, so then you have to come down to the 2. So most of the stops that I have in a bullish market will be at 2 or 6, depending on what type of, if this was $23 and this was $22, well, then there will be a bigger space between them all. It'll be a different story. But just ending in 2 and 6 for the long trades going up. And yeah, so this is all looking quite good. I'll just check the tick chart here. This is 20 ticks. I don't know if I've done anything on here. Doesn't look like it. I'll just double check though. Oh yeah. So because normally work on 100 ticks, and if I can't see the answer in 100 ticks, then I drop it down to 20 ticks, and then I start pulling it all apart, So I can see a few things here, and I don't have any answers, but the main point here, the takeaway is that we're seeing impulse waves to the upside. So the trend is still moving to the upside. It's not moving up very fast, obviously, and it's a bit sluggish. So we can see these old highs here. We can see the angle of this. So it's not like this here. So it is struggling to move higher. And I can count this in different ways here. So we just need to be mindful. I mean, it's possible that there's a top right in just here for this, but that would just leave. I'll just explain that a little bit. Just be like that. It'll just be 1 and 2 here, 3 and 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. So, but I think it's got further to travel up here, and the main point is to leave the stop out of the way. So normally if you just take this, get that distance here, and then look at the 61.8%, and you've got to give it that space. And if you can't give it that space, then you've got too much money in the market and you're over trading and you're going to do yourself in. So less is more, and then you have the grace of wider stops. So you'll need the stop under here for that. But yeah, double tops are never the end of the trend. So even if it does pull back, there'll be further upside to be had for this. And our target to the upside, as I just pointed out, will be 250. So just coming back into the 100 here, I just want to double check. Okay, that's okay. Must have been the hourly chart, sorry. Just double checking that situation. Yeah, no, that's okay. So what we're going to do here, by the by, is we're going to, if it's our day, well, then we'll be taking profit at this level here. And it will probably go higher than that, but we'll just play that out at that point. Okay, let's move on to Amazon next. So Amazon's certainly leading the market higher here, and let me just go to the daily chart here. It's a little bit tricky to count in all of this here, but we'll just go with our with the count that we see that's the best fit. So from this wave 4 here, we're looking at wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 in here. Then there's a 1 and 2 in here again as well, but 3, 4 and 5 for the third wave and the fourth wave, and then we're looking up here for the fifth wave, moving up higher here. So let's move in and check it out from wave 4 onwards. So this wave 4 here. Now, I know that this could be wrong in terms of having wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here, because we do get the overlap here. But I thought that it might be best if we just go conservatively to the upside. So because I could count this here as all of wave 1 to here. I could count this as 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 here. I do know that large numbers here skew the wave count, so I'm taking that into consideration as well. We have a couple of long trades in this market at 26.17 and 26.21. I know the market gapped open, so we're above that there as well. So it is what it is. So really I think we'll be pushing much higher, to be honest, but we have to be conservative, and we will be taking a bit of profit in here between 27.50 and 2800. So take some money off the table in those numbers, because if it gets to the 28 here, then we're going to be seeing some corrective patterns unfold in that space there. This is also group 2 as well. We've got the medium level here at 2500, and then we've got the next major level here at 3000. So we've got between these two here, we've got group 2. Group 2 is 65, 2650 in this case, 27 in here where the market's heading now, 2720, and 28 here. So these three levels make up group 2, but I've got the 2750 in there I won't go into it, but that's the kind of target the first target we could be looking for. If we get support within group 2, here, okay, we already got that, sorry about that, lost the plot. Let's just go in and take a closer look. Not on that chart. I don't even think we've got the hourly, so we're going straight to the tick, 100 ticks. So I might have to go to 20 ticks, but while we're here, I'll just tidy this up if that's cool. So we're looking to go in here, we're looking to go in here off these here, we don't need that. This was interesting because, out of all the moves down here, in the S&P 500 and so on and so on, in a lot of indices actually, it was 5 waves down, but we noted that this was actually 3 waves down. So that way we knew that we'd be taking these tops out here, and we certainly have done that, and that's what the S&P and all the rest of them could do as well. They can just follow along like that, even though we can count them down as 5 waves. In some of the markets like Australia, I could count it down in 3 waves, and there is a relationship between Australia, especially Australian dollar, and the S&P 500. So Australian dollar will have the same sort of corrective patterns as the S&P is going through as well. So let me just see, Amazon 2666. So what we're going to do here was going up to 2666. Everybody says it's the devil's number, but that's not quite true. It's in mathematics. It comes in with the golden mean and the golden ratio and all those sorts of things. So it's actually nature's numbers. So don't need these here. So what we're thinking of doing here actually is just taking between 27.50 and 28 here. We're just going to take some profit. I'll just leave you to think about that because everybody's got a different situation occurring. So I'll just, okay, I'll just leave it at that. And I want to take this into 20 ticks. We want to have a look at this trend here. So with 20 ticks, so this is the ABC pattern here. And if I can just open this up a little bit, I think it's important to look at it. We can look at this as wave 1 here and ABC for 2, then 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Nice strong third wave here. Fourth, nice little gap in the fifth wave, bit unusual, but there you go. Wave 3 and wave 4 here. So that all looks quite good here. But then what we're getting is we're getting an extension in this particular structure here now. So when we look at like all of that, so if I just squash that up a little bit here, just to get the message across. So we've got 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4 here. So then we've got this extension in the fifth wave here. Now that's okay. We've seen this in Amazon before. but it also could be counted differently as well. We could also look at this here as wave 1 and wave 2 here. Then we could grab this one here and look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here instead of 4. And then start to build up to that, up that way. Then this would all be wave 3 up here. But I'll just go with what we have at the moment, because I like to follow things up in a conservative manner and then just try to stay with the evidence. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in blue here. So we're looking for 5 waves up here for blue wave 5. And we can count that as 1 and 2 and 3. Nice sideways correction here for wave 4. And then once again, we're also extending in the 5th wave. So it's the fifth wave, this 5th wave, blue wave 5 we're extending in, and also green wave 5 we're extending in. And we'll probably extend in these two as well, but I just want to stay with where we are at the moment. So wave 4, we've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 1 in blue, 2 in blue, 3 in blue, 4 in blue here. And that doesn't need to be there. I don't know why that's gone there. It's just my inability to get things right. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I'm a bit concerned about this. It doesn't count very well as 5. So that needs to be resolved at some point. And ABC for wave 4 here. And then if you look closely here, we've got 1 and 2 here, and probably 3, 4 and 5 moving up into this space. So that will take us into this number here, which is, I'm just going to put it in orange because it's really the backbone of group 2. Group 2 is 65, 72 and 80 here. So if I was intraday trading to the upside, I'd be taking money off the table there. But as I mentioned before, this number here, the 2750, is something that we can also look at as well. The good news about this is that we're in group 2. So if a market gets into group 2, so the 65 here, I mean, it's a very unassuming number, but when you think about it, so much resistance here, and then it became the support here, came back and tested a bit, and then moved. We're in group 2 now, so that's good. So group 2 here, that can just take us up. So our next job is, if we get support on this one here, this is the one that we really want to see here. So in that regard, we want to see the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, some type of correction. We want to see it migrate from being resistance to support, a bit like that's overdone there, but any level can sort of work that out. 2600, that gives us another nice little example here, I think. In its own way, this one had an overshoot pattern. It didn't react here, so the distance it goes above is normally the distance it goes below, and then this becomes the balance point there. I think this is worthwhile just discussing a little bit further, actually. So I'll just go over the 3 patterns. This is the classic trading levels pattern. So it's the arrival, the reaction. This is at any price point, really, but arrival, reaction, first high above the level, some type of correction, then support. The idea generally is to get out here, get back in over here. You can go, we don't chase this up here, we allow it to go up and fold back. So we can put that as another entry point, that as an entry point, and so on. The next one is a variation on that, where it doesn't come back below the level. We don't get caught out because we'd be going long at that level, and any other high, second high in here, we'll go long at. And the third pattern that we look at is the overshoot pattern, where it doesn't stop here for whatever reasons and just continues to move up, runs out of steam, and then folds back and then gets back up, and this level becomes the balance point in it. Think of a triangle pattern, becomes the centerpiece, the balance line for it. And you've got to have that, because then you know where to put the stop, you know where the weight of the market is in that particular zone, that particular space. So that's what we were looking at just then in here. An overshoot pattern didn't stop here, just cruised up, but the distance above is roughly the distance below, and then it does that, and then it's on. So this would have been going long in here for this, but we did the same thing here. We got the gap here and the gap here in the third, so on. So anyway, normally would just go straight, it would be up in the 2800. I probably see this going much, much higher up into the 3000, but it's just step by step. And the next step with this is getting support on the 720, but the big number to get past is the 28 here. That's the profit taking number. That's where the bids are going to be hit right there. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.